Your birth chart is packed with so much incredible information, but unless your best friend is an astrologer or you yourself are an astrologer, you probably are not going to have the resources to really dig in and get the kind of insight you want to get. And that is what I want to help change with this YouTube channel and specifically with this playlist that I'm creating, starting with this video, all about birth chart self-analysis. This is learning how to interpret your birth chart for the purpose of deeper self-awareness so you can have deeper clarity about who you are and greater courage and confidence to be who you are, and then greater fulfillment in your life. It's kind of the best reason to look at your birth chart beyond just like morbid curiosity. It can actually help you live a better life. It can help you get over your bullshit. It can help you recognize your patterns. It can help you find out what really matters to you in a world that's trying to constantly distract you. So I'm excited to teach you, and we're going to start today with the very basics, which is what are we even looking at when we look at a birth chart? Right, so here's our sample chart, and today we are just trying to get the lay of the land. What are we looking at when we look at a chart? So let's start with the basics. A chart is a map. It is a map of the sky from Earth's point of view. So a geocentric, that's Earth-based map of the sky. Now, you probably have heard of houses. Houses are one of the different chart elements we're going to talk about in just a minute. These different segments are the different houses in the chart. And I'm talking about them first because there's lots of different ways to break up the chart into houses. I use the whole sign house system. I learned astrology through learning the Hellenistic or Greek tradition. It's a more traditional approach to astrology. I'm using it here because it is what I use, but also for teaching purposes, I think it is much easier to learn. So if you're new or newer to astrology, all of the free software is going to default to something called Placidus. And essentially Placidus houses, without getting too technical right now, the houses are not going to evenly line up with the zodiac signs. In whole sign house, they do. For many reasons, we are going to use the whole sign house system here on this channel, but just know that the segments that we're looking at are the houses. Now, outside in this outer ring, you've got the signs, the zodiac signs. Each of these glyphs or symbols are the different zodiac signs. And then finally, we have the planets and the angles. Now, anything that shows up in the houses is either going to be a planet, an asteroid, or an angle. The planets, you know them. It's the sun, the moon, and these are special planets. We call them the luminaries. So the sun and the moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. These are the planets. And then there's way too many asteroids for me to list. Chiron is a really common one that you've probably heard of, and I actually have Chiron right here on this chart. The nodes of the moon, these are actually not planets or asteroids. These are mathematical points. A little too much detail for us to get into here, but they will be on the chart. This is the north node. This is the south node. And then we have the angles. So back to the idea that this map is a map of the sky from the point of view of humans on Earth. What you're looking at in the first house where it says AS is something called the ascendant degree. And the ascendant degree is the eastern horizon in the sky. So whatever degree the ascendant is on, that is the degree of the zodiac sign that was on the eastern horizon the moment you were born. So in this case, for this person, 14 degrees of Pisces was on the eastern horizon. Now, if you go directly to the other side, you'll see DS, that stands for descendant, and this is the western horizon. The MC is the highest, like the peak of the sun's path in the sky, so high noon. And then the IC is the nadir, the darkest part of the night where the sun is like at its lowest. So these angles end up being really important as you start to learn more about how to read your birth chart and understanding you and your personality, your character, the trajectory of your life. So these are the components of the chart. It's the planets, the zodiac signs, and the houses. Now, the one thing that is super important to tell you now that a lot of people leave out in this particular discussion is the different layers of the chart. So this is really important and very, very helpful to understand at the beginning. There's a more spiritual, divine, celestial level to the chart, and then there's the more terrestrial level to the chart. So the celestial divine level is the planets and the zodiac signs. Here's what I mean. The planets are like the actors. They are the characters in the story that the sky is telling. So we always start with them when we start interpreting things. The zodiac signs are the celestial abodes of the planets. So for example, you've probably heard about planetary rulers that, for example, Jupiter rules Pisces. So you've heard of rulerships, probably. If you haven't, now you have. Every zodiac sign is ruled by a planet. There is a planet that is at home there. That's important to know because if we're thinking about the chart from this celestial versus terrestrial level, we know that the planets are like the celestial archetypes, energies, actors, and the zodiac signs are places where they can be. Think of them as like Airbnbs or apartments or even like neighborhoods in this city of the sky, if you will. In this chart, Saturn and Neptune are in the neighborhood of Pisces. And what we learn as we continue to learn about the planets and how they function in the zodiac signs is that some planets thrive in some neighborhoods or zodiac signs, and others don't. So it's possible that a planet can do better or worse in a zodiac sign. But for now, what's important to know is that the planets in the zodiac signs are of the celestial realm. And what the signs tell us is the way in which the planet can function at this point in time, being in this particular zodiac sign. The houses are the terrestrial level. And I think this is where a lot of people get confused is when they start to learn about the houses and they're like, how do I put this all together? It's a lot easier to put together if you remember that the houses have to do with life on Earth. So whatever's going on with the planet was going to be informed by the zodiac sign that it's in, is going to tell us about a certain area of life for the person whose chart we're talking about. In the case of this particular person, we know that Saturn is in the first house. And that means that Saturn in Pisces, and whatever Saturn in Pisces might mean, is going to tell us something about first house topics for that person. The first house is all about the person's character, personality, psychology, their body, their health, their appearance. So I would say, one thing we could say about this person is that they might be someone who takes themselves, I would say, seriously. So this is just, the first thing I think of when I think of Saturn in the first house. And then you think about Saturn in Pisces, and this feels like someone who could almost be ascetic, like someone who's deeply spiritual and very regimented, but doesn't have to be like in a downer kind of way. It could just be someone who is super disciplined and also takes their compassion really seriously. Like I could imagine this person being an excellent pastor, for example, someone like a clergy person who just knows how to be devoted. And that's a core part of their personality. So you see already how if we think about this distinction between the celestial realm of the planets and the signs and the terrestrial realm of the houses and what happens here on Earth, it already makes interpreting the planets and everything, all of the chart elements, so much easier. So this video, again, was all about just what are we looking at when we look at a chart? And I know we did get a little bit into interpretation, but hopefully that helped just ground everything and make everything stick. Let me know what questions you have about this. Let me know what questions you have about reading your chart, because being able to answer questions just helps me make better videos for you guys. So please let me know what I can help you with. And I will be back with another video. Have a great day.